These are 25 of the most important things you need to know about Deadpool, not just what was in the movie. So you look knowledgeable when repping your Marvel cred. Getting into a new property can be daunting, especially when it's based around a character who routinely breaks the fourth wall, is subject to almost yearly retconning, and whose best stories are spread out at seemingly random intervals across 20 years of comics, guest spots, and team-ups. For the most part, we whittled down the more complex information about Deadpool, i.e. anything time travel related. Number 1. Deadpool is bisexual. Number 2. His real name is a joke. When Deadpool was first developed, he has such a striking similarity to DC's Deathstroke that his creators, Fabian Nicieza and Rob Liefeld, decided to name him Wade Wilson as an inside joke as a result of the correlation. The name implies a relation to Slade Wilson aka Deathstroke. Number 3. He is a total nerd. Yeah, the Merc with a mouth plays at least one MMORPG, as evidenced by his reference to Leroy Jenkins, a Warcraft character who famously shouted his own name while rushing into battle. How does Deadpool have time to play World of Warcraft? He's supposed to be saving the world, not grinding for gold. Number 4. Deadpool and Captain America are pals. Odd as it may seem, Cap is pretty much the only guy in the Marvel Universe who actually likes Deadpool. And Cap is the only person whom Deadpool respects. As a child, Captain America was Wade's idol. Since they're both government experiments, he's one of the few people who can understand Deadpool's pain. Number 5. He just wants to be friends with Spider-Man. Deadpool's ceaseless quest to make Spider-Man his very best friend might just be our favorite thing in comics ever. The unlikely friendship has inspired hordes of comic fans to create all sorts of fan fiction. This fan fiction ranges from mild to wild under the umbrella term Spideypool. Number 6. He is a really smart guy. In spite of his wacky antics and lowest common denominator persona, Wade is actually very clever and strategically sophisticated. While doing battle with Daredevil, for instance, he's actually able to hold his own in the fight. In fact, he even tricks him a few times, which is not easy to do. Number 7. He has beaten enemies just by talking. Wade Wilson has always been chatty, but after being driven insane by the Weapon X experimentation, he couldn't shut his mouth. He's been known to talk enemies to their demise, and he even shut down Galactus with his endless stream of nonsense. The Fantastic Four could barely beat the world-devouring baddie, but Deadpool did it without throwing a punch. Number 8. He breaks the fourth wall constantly. Deadpool's most notorious trait is his tendency to break the fourth wall, offering absurd meta-commentary on his stories. Few comic characters know they exist within a work of fiction, but Deadpool knows it and thrives on it. He frequently references the idea he's a fictional character, and every once in a while he'll drop a comment to the artist or writer working on his book, usually confusing anyone sharing a panel with him. Number 9. For all that anti-hero blathering, he's actually pretty heroic. Deadpool is a complex character, an anti-hero whose heroic deeds are often few and far between. But when he wants to be a full-blown hero, he really goes for it. For instance, when Archangel was on the brink of death, Deadpool nursed him back to health by cutting off chunks of his own flesh and feeding them to the mutant. This is completely gross, but it actually saved the X-Man's life. Number 10. He's got a soft spot for kids and animals. Sure, he's known to be morally flexible at best, but even the Merc with a mouth has to have some scruples. He's shown a soft heart when it comes to defenseless critters and kids, most notably the potential megavillain Kid Apocalypse. Whether it's because of his own troubled youth or if he's simply a good guy deep down inside, it's nice to know Deadpool's warm and fuzzy inside. Number 11. He took down the entire Marvel Universe. In the 4-part series, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. An experiment goes haywire, causing Wade to flip out and terminate various heroes and villains. He terminated the Avengers using PIM particles, and he even took out his beloved Spider-Man. Number 12. He was never meant to be so popular. When he was first introduced to the comics world in New Mutants number 98, he was a fairly stock bad guy just hired to take out Cable. But after subsequent appearances in X-Force, he quickly stole the comic book world's collective heart. Number 13. He was briefly a member of X-Force. From 2010 to 2012, Deadpool spent his summer vacations working with a secret version of X-Force led by Wolverine as a sort of Black Ops X-Men team, Long story. Together, Wolvie's squad battles cyborgs, rescues a reincarnated Apocalypse, and transports a shark inside of the Blob. It's messy. Number 14. He named himself Deadpool. In what may be one of the most convoluted naming stories in comic book history, Deadpool called himself after the death pool he was entered into when he was removed from the Weapon X program. In the gruesome medical workshop where he and other failed government test subjects were tortured and experimented on, the Deadpool was a bet between the patients as to just who would survive. Wade was given survival odds of 1,000 to 1, but he beat the odds. Number 15. He married Dracula's fiancée. Deadpool has actually been romantically linked to multiple women in the Marvel Universe, from Copycat to Black Widow. But it took Dracula's runaway fiancée Shikla to tie our man down in holy matrimony. Number 16. Ryan Reynolds hated what X-Men Origins Wolverine did to Deadpool. The film was a modest success, but its take on Deadpool was ripped apart by fans who were confused by the complete retconning of Sweet Baby Wade. Not only were his powers all jumbled, but his mouth was glued shut, completely wrecking the best thing about the Merc with a mouth. Despite having his beloved character pulled out from under him, Reynolds soldiered on like the sweetheart he is. Number 17. Before he was Deadpool, he was in love. He's not the most romantic character, but back when Wade Wilson was just a regular old Canadian mercenary, he fell in love with Vanessa Carlyle. After a terminal cancer diagnosis, Wade left her, not wanting to force her into a doomed relationship with such a sick man. They crossed paths later in life when Vanessa became the shape-shifting mutant known as Copycat. Number 18. Deadpool has a daughter named Eleanor. A long time ago, in comic terms, Deadpool was seduced by Carmelita Camacho, a civilian who was later taken and terminated. Along the way, he found out that Carmelita had a child from their brief time together. He rescued his daughter and gave his friend Emily Preston, agent of SHIELD, custody of his daughter to keep her paternity a secret. A softie at heart, he even moved in next door to be close to her. Number 19. He fought every dead president and re-terminated them all. Written by Brian Posehn and Jerry Duggan, Deadpool number 1 features a necromancer resurrecting past presidents to fix American society. Obvi, things don't go as planned and the ex-presidents run amok, which means Deadpool has to step in. In a race to stop the undead presidents, Deadpool has to call upon Dr. Strange and, naturally, the ghost of Benjamin Franklin. Number 20. He is a proud Canadian. Like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is proudly Canadian almost to a fault. He often references the Great White North and, like most of the world, he uses the metric system. Number 21. Once upon a time, he took out all of your favorite literary characters. After spending years slaughtering various heroes and villains across the Marvel Universe only to see them return, Deadpool decided that the only way to really get the job done was to take out their sources of inspiration. Thus, Deadpool Illustrated was born. Where else could you find a costumed contractor taking down the home of the Little Women and slicing up the Three Musketeers? Number 22. He has a sidekick named Weasel. Weasel is, well, he's kind of a weasel. When he first met Deadpool, Weasel, aka Jack Hammer, was a down-on-his-luck weapons dealer who'd actually had his life ruined by Deadpool in the past. The two form an uneasy friendship and fight/cause crime on and off, with Weasel often supplying Wade with gear. Number 23. He is an organ donor. Are you guys really going to let a fictional person show you up when it comes to donating your organs? What are you doing with them after you pass? Preserving them in a museum? We guess it's easier for Wade to donate since his healing factor allows him to immediately regenerate his organs at will. Number 24. No pickles. After passing for a second time, Deadpool was resurrected by Thanos, but not before 4 false Deadpools could appear in his absence, each personifying a different aspect of his personality in a parody of DC's famous Death of Superman. The first was an idealistic superhero with traditional ideals reminiscent of Superman's. The second was a Punisher-esque crime fighter who took pleasure in taking people out. The third was an absurdist pop culture star along the lines of Tom Green or Bam Margera. The final Deadpool was completely insane, but uncharacteristically for Deadpool said only 2 words the entire arc: no pickles. This probably won't come up in the movie. Number 25. Deadpool's dad has not had it easy. Like most comic characters, Deadpool suffers from being revised every few years, so his backstory is contradictory at best. The oddest piece of his origin story is his father, Thomas Wilson. Throughout the years, he's been terminated in a bar by one of teenage Wade's friends, bashed by a liquor bottle, and burned by Deadpool. And there you have it, 25 mind-blowing facts you probably didn't know about Deadpool. Whether you're a die-hard fan of the Merc with a mouth or just getting into the world of Wade Wilson, I hope you learned something new today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss out on more awesome content like this. And hey, if you've got your own Deadpool trivia or facts we missed, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.